Hello, future educators. Welcome back to our LET Review 2026 series. I'm so excited to have you here with me today. If you're new to this channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss any of our review sessions. Today, we're diving into Part 5, Advanced and Integrative Items in Professional Education. This is where things get really interesting because we're going to explore more complex, application-based questions that truly test your understanding of educational theories and principles. These are the types of questions that separate good test takers from excellent ones. So grab your notes, get comfortable, and let's master these concepts together. Here we go with item number 1, focusing on cognitive development. Let me read the question carefully. A grade 5 learner can solve math problems independently but struggles with abstract reasoning. In which stage is the learner? And here are your choices. Letter A, pre-operational. Letter B, concrete operational. Letter C, formal operational. Or letter D, sensorimotor. Remember, focus on the key phrases in the question. Can solve math problems independently but struggles with abstract reasoning. When you see questions about cognitive development, always think about Piaget's stages and the specific capabilities at each level. The key is matching the child's abilities with the appropriate stage characteristics. The correct answer is letter B, concrete operational. Here's the simple way to understand it. A grade 5 learner is usually around 10 to 11 years old, which already places them right in the concrete operational stage. At this stage, learners can think logically, that's why they can solve math problems on their own. But, and this is important, their thinking still depends on concrete, real, and visible situations. So yes, they can add, subtract, multiply, and divide and organize, classify, and arrange information logically. But they still struggle with abstract ideas, like hypothetical situations, algebraic variables, or deep what-if questions. And that's exactly what the question describes. A quick elimination check. Pre-operational? Too young and not yet logical. Formal operational? That stage already handles abstract reasoning, so not this one. Sensorimotor? That's infancy, so obviously no. Here's a teacher tip. When teaching learners at this stage, always use real-life examples, visuals, and hands-on activities. Abstract ideas need something concrete first. Alright, let's move on to the next question. Moving on to item number 32, and we're now looking at psychosocial development. Here's your question. A teenager explores various values and careers but has not yet committed to any particular identity. This is. Let's look at the options. Letter A, identity achievement. Letter B, identity diffusion. Letter C, identity foreclosure. Letter D, moratorium. The keywords here are explores and has not yet committed. Think about Erikson's identity statuses. What does active exploration without commitment represent? Erikson's identity statuses are a favorite on the LET. The correct answer is letter D, moratorium. Here's why. During adolescence, learners are in Erikson's stage of identity versus role confusion. This is the time when teens ask, "Who am I?" In moratorium, the teenager is actively exploring different values, beliefs, and careers and asking questions and trying things out. But not yet ready to make a final commitment. That's exactly what the question describes. High exploration, low commitment. Here's a quick comparison so you don't get confused. Identity achievement implies explored and already committed. Identity diffusion implies no exploration, no commitment. And identity foreclosure implies committed without exploring. Here's a helpful memory trick. Think of moratorium as a pause button. The learner is searching, but not deciding yet. This stage is healthy and normal. As educators, our role is to support exploration, not rush students into choices they're not ready for. Now let's move to item number 3, moral development, based on Lawrence Kohlberg. The situation says, a student disobeys a school rule she deems unfair in order to protect human dignity. She is at what stage of moral development? Your options are. Letter A. Law and order. Letter B. Punishment obedience. Letter C. Social contract. Or letter D. Instrumental relativist. The critical clues are disobeys a school rule, deems unfair, and protect human dignity. This tells us about the moral reasoning behind the action. Lawrence Kohlberg's moral development theory is huge on the LET. Pay close attention to the reasoning behind actions, not just the actions themselves. Kohlberg cares about why someone does something, not what they do. The correct answer is letter C, social contract. Here's the simple explanation. The social contract stage is part of Kohlberg's post-conventional level. At this stage, people believe that laws exist to protect human rights and dignity, and if a rule is unjust, it can be questioned or even disobeyed. In the question, the student disobeys a rule, believes the rule is unfair, and acts to protect human dignity. That's classic stage 5 reasoning. She's not being rebellious or selfish. She's acting based on principles, not fear or obedience. Here's a quick elimination. Punishment obedience implies that one follows rules to avoid trouble. Instrumental relativist implies what's in it for me. Law and order implies that one follows rules no matter what. This student is thinking beyond rules, she's thinking about justice. Here's a memory trick. Social contract equals human rights first, rules second. Alright, we're at item number 4, and we're exploring sociocultural theory. Here's your question. Which of the following teaching practices reflects Vygotsky's sociocultural theory? Let's look at the options. Letter A, silent reading. Letter B, drill worksheets. Letter C, peer tutoring. Or letter D, memorization. Remember, Vygotsky emphasized the social nature of learning. Which practice involves social interaction? Here's a LET tip. When you see Vygotsky's name, immediately think social and collaboration. His entire theory revolves around learning through social interaction and cultural tools. Look for the most collaborative option. The correct answer is letter C, peer tutoring. Here's why. Vygotsky believed that learners grow with the help of others, not in isolation. Learning is social. Peer tutoring fits his theory perfectly because there is interaction. One learner helps another. And language is used to explain and clarify ideas. This connects directly to Vygotsky's key ideas, which are the following. Zone of proximal development, which means what a learner can do with help. More knowledgeable other, in this case, a peer. And scaffolding, support that is gradually removed. Why not the others? Silent reading implies individual, no interaction. Drill worksheets implies repetitive and isolated. Memorization implies learning without collaboration. We're now at item number 5, focusing on behaviorism. Here's the scenario. A teacher removes extra homework when students participate actively. This behavioral strategy is. Your options are. Letter A, positive reinforcement. Letter B, negative reinforcement. Letter C, punishment. Or letter D, extinction. The keyword here is removes, something is being taken away, and the result is that students participate more. What does this tell you? Here's another LET tip. Behaviorism questions test your understanding of operant conditioning. Remember, reinforcement increases behavior, punishment decreases behavior. Positive means adding something, negative means removing something. Don't confuse negative reinforcement with punishment. The correct answer is letter B, negative reinforcement. Here's the easy way to remember this. In behaviorism, reinforcement means the behavior increases. Positive means something is added. Negative means something is removed. In the scenario, extra homework is removed. Students participate more. So, removed equals negative. Behavior increased equals reinforcement. That makes it negative reinforcement. Important reminder. Negative does not mean punishment. Negative just means subtraction. A quick check on the others. Positive reinforcement adds something pleasant. Punishment decreases behavior. Extinction removes reinforcement altogether. Use negative reinforcement carefully implies reduce workload or pressure to encourage positive behavior. but don't create stress just to remove it later. Let's move to item number 6, which focuses on attachment theory. Here's the scenario. A child explores the room confidently but returns to the teacher as a secure base. This illustrates. Your options are: letter A, avoidant; letter B, ambivalent; letter C, disorganized; or letter D, secure. The key phrases are explores confidently and returns to the teacher as a secure base. What does this behavior pattern suggest? The correct answer is letter D, secure attachment. Here's why. In secure attachment, the caregiver, or in this case, the teacher, serves as a secure base. That means the child feels safe enough to explore, but knows they can return for comfort and support. That's exactly what the scenario describes. A quick comparison. Avoidant implies avoids the caregiver. Ambivalent implies too anxious to explore. Disorganized implies confused and fearful behavior. This child shows confidence and trust, which are clear signs of secure attachment. Teachers can be powerful attachment figures. When you're warm, consistent, and responsive, you give learners the confidence to explore, learn, and grow. Alright, we're now at item number 7, and this one is about Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory. Here's the question. A parent's job loss indirectly affects a child's performance at school. Which system is involved? Your choices are: letter A, microsystem; letter B, mesosystem; letter C, exosystem; or letter D, macrosystem. The keyword here is indirectly. The child is not part of the parent's workplace, but it still affects the child. The correct answer is letter C, exosystem. Here's the simple explanation. The exosystem includes environments that the child does not directly participate in, but that still affect the child's life. A parent's workplace is a perfect example. In this scenario, the parent loses a job. The child is not involved in that workplace. But the stress, financial pressure, and family changes affect the child's school performance. That's classic exosystem influence. Quick comparison so you don't get confused. Microsystem, settings the child is directly part of like, home, and school. Mesosystem, connections between microsystems home, school link. Macrosystem implies the culture, laws, values. Exosystem implies indirect influence. Heavy check mark, here's a memory tip. Exosystem equals affects the child, but the child isn't there. When learners struggle, look beyond the classroom. Sometimes the cause is outside the child's direct world. Let's move on to item number 8, focusing on language development. Here's the question. The theory that language develops through innate biological mechanisms belongs to. Your options are: letter A, Piaget; letter B, Vygotsky; letter C, Skinner; or letter D, Chomsky. Focus on the phrase innate biological mechanisms. Who believed we are born ready for language? The correct answer is letter D, Chomsky. Here's why. Noam Chomsky believed that humans are born with a built-in capacity for language. He called this the language acquisition device, or LAD. In short, children don't just imitate language, they apply rules they were never taught. They can create new sentences and they learn language incredibly fast. That's because language is biologically programmed. Here's a quick contrast with the others. For Skinner, language is learned through reinforcement. For Vygotsky, language develops through social interaction. And for Piaget, language follows cognitive development. Only Chomsky argued that language ability is innate. Here's a memory trick. Innate language equals Chomsky. Children are wired for language. Teacher's job is to provide rich input, not drill grammar rules endlessly. Alright, we're now at item number 9, and this one highlights Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences theory. Here's the scenario. A child shows strength in music and rhythm but struggles in math. This reflects which intelligence? Your choices are: letter A, logical mathematical; letter B, musical; letter C, bodily kinesthetic; Or letter D, linguistic? Yes, this may look easy, but let questions like this test whether you truly understand that intelligence is not one size fits all. Alright, we're now at item number 9, and this one highlights Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences theory. Here's the scenario. A child shows strength in music and rhythm but struggles in math. This reflects which intelligence? Your choices are: letter A, logical mathematical; letter B, musical; letter C, bodily kinesthetic; or letter D, linguistic. Yes, this may look easy, but let questions like this test whether you truly understand that intelligence is not one size fits all. We're now at item number 10, focusing on developmental principles, a favorite LET topic. Here's the question. The developmental principle where skills progress from simple to complex and from general to specific is. Your options are: letter A, cephalocaudal; letter B, proximodistal; letter C, differentiation; or letter D, maturation. Focus on the key phrases. Simple to complex, general to specific. The correct answer is letter C, differentiation. Here's the simplest way to understand it. Differentiation means development moves from simple to complex, and from general to specific. This principle explains how skills become refined over time. Why the others are wrong, quickly. Cephalocaudal implies head to toe. Proximodistal implies center to extremities. Maturation implies biological unfolding, not the pattern itself. And that wraps up our final question. If this review helped you, don't forget understanding concepts beats memorizing definitions every time. Congratulations! You've just completed Part 5, Advanced and Integrative Items. Remember, stay focused. Trust the theories. You've done the work, you've studied the concepts, you've analyzed the questions, now trust in your preparation. If you found this review helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us reach more future educators like you. And here's the most important part, don't stop now. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss Part 6, where we'll continue building your LET preparation with even more comprehensive review materials. Turn on those notifications by clicking the bell icon. I post new review content regularly, and you don't want to miss a single session. Leave a comment below. How did you do on these questions? Which concept do you want me to explain more deeply? What topics are you struggling with? I read every comment, and your questions help me create better content for everyone. I'll see you in Part 6. Until then, keep reviewing, stay confident, and remember, you've got this. God bless us. God bless us.